Hello guys, welcome to Interchange 1 Unit 11. It's a really nice city. In this unit, we are going to describe hometowns, cities, and countries. Also, we will see adverbs before adjectives, conjunctions, and modal verbs can and should. Let's begin. If you want to give some information about a city, a country, or your hometown, here I'm going to show you some adjectives that you can use to do so. Let's see some of them. You have beautiful and ugly. This city is beautiful because it has a lot of colors, the buildings are in perfect condition, and you can see that it's very clean. Now on the other hand, we have ugly. This street or this city is ugly because you can see that the buildings are in a bad condition, they look old, they are not painted, the streets look really dirty. Expensive and cheap. Expensive when something costs a lot of money or the price is high, and cheap when something costs a little money or the price is low. For example, New York is an expensive city. Now, Santo Domingo is a cheap city. If you compare Santo Domingo and New York is an expensive city and Santo Domingo is a cheap city. Clean and polluted. In this picture, we can see that there is no trash in the streets and that everything is organized. On the other hand, in the second picture, there is trash, there is contamination in the streets. That's why it is polluted. Boring and interesting. In the first picture, you can see that there are not too many places to go and have fun. On the other hand, in the second picture, you can find a lot of places where you can have fun with friends, such as a movie theater, a disco, a mall, and museums. Quiet and noisy. If a place is quiet, you can feel peace because there aren't any distractions and there isn't any noise. On the other hand, if a place is noisy, you can find loud music, a lot of cars making noise, and also people. Relaxing and stressful. Relaxing is a place where you can rest and have fun. On vacation with your family, you can disconnect from the world and forget all your problems. On the other hand, stressful, it's a place or a situation that makes you feel worried or uncomfortable. Dangerous and safe. If a city or country is dangerous, there are a lot of criminals and you can find a lot of problems in the streets. On the other hand, if a city or country is safe, there is security, you can find cameras, and there are police officers that can protect you. Spacious and crowded. Spacious is a place that is full of space, and crowded is a place that is full of people. This is the first conversation for Unit 11. In this conversation, we have Ron and Camila. They are talking about Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Let's listen to them.
Unit 11. It's a really nice city. Page 72. Exercise 2. Conversation. It looks so relaxing. Part A. Listen and practice.
That photo is really cool. Where is that?
That's a beach near my house in Punta Cana, in the Dominican Republic.
It looks so relaxing. I've heard the area is really beautiful.
Yeah, it is. The weather is great, and there are some fantastic beaches. The water is really clear, too.
Is it expensive there?
Well, it's not cheap, but prices for tourists can be pretty reasonable.
And how far is it from Santo Domingo?
It's not too far from the capital. About 200 kilometers. A little over 120 miles.
It sounds very interesting. I should plan a trip there sometime.
Adverbs before adjectives. Intensifiers. We often use intensifiers to make the meaning of adjectives stronger or more intense. Some intensifiers are to, extremely, very, really, pretty, fairly, and somewhat. For example, Punta Cana is very beautiful. In this case, Punta Cana is the subject, is the verb be, very is the adverb or intensifier, and beautiful is the adjective. Adverbs before adjectives. Intensifier. What is an intensifier? Well, An intensifier is a word that we use to make an adjective more intense, such as to, extremely, very, really, pretty, fairly, or somewhat. Very and really are similar. The same happens with fairly and somewhat. Also, fairly and somewhat are similar to a little. Don't forget that we usually use to with negative adjectives because to means an excess of something. To create sentences with this grammar, this is the formula that we usually follow. The subject plus V plus the article plus the adverb or intensifier plus the adjective plus what the subject is. So in this case, we have some examples. So let's see. Punta Cana is beautiful. Mexico is dangerous. Rex is noisy. In the first examples, we have the subject, we have the verb be, and we have the adjective. For the second example, we have Punta Cana, it's very beautiful. Mexico, it's somewhat dangerous. Rex is pretty noisy. In the second example, we have the subject, the verb be, the adverb or intensifier, and the adjective. For the last one, we have Punta Cana, it's a very beautiful city. Mexico is a somewhat dangerous country. And Rex is a pretty noisy dog. So if you check in the last one, we have the article and we have what the subject is. What is the subject? Rex. Rex is a dog. Mexico, it's a country. And Punta Cana, it's a city. That's why it says Punta Cana, it's a very beautiful city. Mexico is a somewhat dangerous country. And Rex, it's a pretty noisy dog. The three sentences here mean the same. Mexico, Punta Cana, and Rex. The three sentences that we have here are the same. But if you notice, sentence number 1 is less intense than sentence number 2 and sentence number 3. If you say very beautiful, it's more than beautiful. If you say somewhat dangerous, it's like less than dangerous. If you say pretty noisy, it's more than noisy. So you are just changing or giving more information about the adjective. You are making the adjective more intense when you add the adverb or the intensifier. Conjunctions: and, but, though, and however. A conjunction is a part of speech that is used to connect words, phrases, clauses, or sentences. We use conjunctions to connect ideas. So in this case, we have this example using but. Santo Domingo, it's modern, but it has too much traffic. If you check the first sentence, Santo Domingo, it's modern, it's positive, but the second one is negative. It says it has too much traffic. That's why we use but to connect two ideas that are contrasting or different. One is negative and the other one is positive. We know that conjunctions are used to connect ideas. We use and for similar ideas, and but, however, and though for contrasting ideas. Let's see some examples. Santo Domingo, it's very modern. There are a lot of nice people. Punta Cana has great beaches. You can find many malls there. So if you check the first sentence, Santo Domingo, it's very modern, it's positive. If you continue with the second sentence, there are a lot of nice people, is also positive. That's why in this case, to connect the two sentences, we use the conjunction and we say, Santo Domingo, it's very modern, and there are a lot of nice people. We eliminate the period, and we put a comma, and we change this, the capital letter. So Santo Domingo, it's very modern, and there are a lot of nice people. The second example, Punta Cana has great beaches. This sentence is positive. And the second one, you can find many malls there. this is also positive. That's why, again, we use the conjunction "en" to connect these ideas, these sentences. Punta Cana has great beaches and you can find many malls there. Again, we eliminate a period and we change it for a comma. We put "en" and we change the capital Y. So Punta Cana has great beaches and you can find many malls there. On the other hand, when you have contrasting ideas, we are going to use but, however, or though. Examples: Santo Domingo, it's really interesting. It has too much contamination. If you check the first sentence, Santo Domingo, it's really interesting, it's a positive sentence. But the second one, it has too much contamination, it's negative. In this case, we cannot use "en" because the ideas are different. The first one is positive and the second one is negative. That's why we are going to use one of these conjunctions. We can use but in the middle of the two sentences like this. Santo Domingo, it's really interesting, but it has too much contamination. Or you can use however or though. However and though are used at the end of the sentence, as you can see here, but the meaning is the same. It's the same meaning as if you use but. For example, Santo Domingo, it's really interesting, but it has too much contamination. Santo Domingo, it's really interesting, it has too much contamination, however. Santo Domingo, it's really interesting, it has too much contamination, though. In this case, if you check for however and for though, we are not eliminating the period, we leave the period. What we change is that we add at the end of the sentence however and though, and we put a comma before however and before though. But the meaning is the same. Using but, using however, and using though, the sentence is the same. A landmark is a building or a place that is easily recognized, especially one that you can use to know where you are. These are 6 famous landmarks around the world. A landmark is like a monument. So these are 6 that are very popular. The first one is the Grand Canyon in Arizona, US. Number 2, the Louvre in Paris, France. Number 3, the pyramids in Giza, Egypt. Number 4, the Colosseum in Rome, Italy. Number 5, Sugarloaf Mountain in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And number 6, the Taj Mahal in Agra, India. Please let us know in the comments which place would you like to visit. This is the second conversation for Unit 11. In this case, we have Jason and Claudia. They are talking about Mexico City and the things that we can do there. Let's listen to the conversation.
Page 75. Exercise 7. Conversation. What should I do there? Part A. Listen and practice.
Can you tell me a little about Mexico City?
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, I'm going to be there for a few days next month. What should I do there?
Oh, you should definitely visit the National Museum of Anthropology. It's amazing.
Okay, it's on my list now. Anything else?
You shouldn't miss the Diego Rivera murals. They're incredible. Oh, and you can walk around the historic center.
That sounds perfect. And what about the food? What should I eat?
You can't miss the street food. The tacos, barbecue, fruit, it's all delicious.
Modal verbs can and should. In this case, we are using the modal verb can to talk about possibilities, possible things that we can do. And we are using should to talk about suggestions or recommendations. So if I am a tourist, if I go to the Dominican Republic and I want to know the things that I can do that are possible in the Dominican Republic, I can ask you, what can I do in the Dominican Republic? And you can tell me. You can ride a horse on a beach in Punta Cana. You can walk around the colonial zone. You can go to a museum. You can try the famous Jaroa. So in this case, these are possible things that I can do if I go to the Dominican Republic. Now, on the other hand here, we use should for recommendations to recommend things that we think that are good ideas. So what activities should I try in Santo Domingo? In this case, I am asking about recommendations. So the person could say, you should dance bachata, or you should ride on the cable car. Or the last one, you should visit a historic museum. So after should and after can, you need to use the verb in the base form. As you can see here, ride, walk, go, try, dance, ride, and visit. You always use the verb in the base form after should and after can. Remember, can for possibility and should for suggestions or recommendations. Notice that when you say you shouldn't miss, it's like you have to go or you have to do it. For example, you shouldn't miss Altos de Chabón. If I say that, it's because you have to go to that place because it's a wonderful experience. Well guys, that was everything for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.